Hello student. Today we are going to discuss about the chapter 13 class 9th biology chapter 13 why do we fall ill. What is health? Health is the level of functional or metabolic efficiency of a living organism. In humans, it is the general condition of a person's mind and body, usually meaning to be free from illness, injury, or any pain, as in good health or healthy. Health and its failure. Significance of health. Health is described as the state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Thus, being healthy is a far more than just being free from disease. For maintaining a healthy life cycle, a person needs to have a balanced diet, needs exercise regularly, in proper shelter, and get enough sleep. Overlap of personal and community issues for health. Human beings live in societies. We are social animals. Our social environment plays an important part in our individual health. We live in villages, towns, or cities. For example, just think what would happen if there is no agency of to ensure garbage is collected and disposed. If there heap of garbage and trash littered here and there, so the possibility of poor health increases. So public cleanliness is an important contribution to an individual's health. Now we will study about difference between healthy and disease-free people. So difference between healthy and disease-free. Healthy. Healthy means it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. A healthy person will be disease-free. Healthy person is energetic and able to perform his work with full efficiency. Disease-free, it is a state of absence of discomfort or derangement in any part of body. A disease-free person can be healthy or unhealthy. Performance of a disease-free person depends upon environment and personal attitude. The disease by intrinsic sources are called organic. That means from inside, from our organ. Disease caused by, some of the disease caused by intrinsic sources like cardiac failure, kidney failure, dwarfism, gigantism, diabetes, cancer, allergies, sickle cell anemia. These all diseases are caused by intrinsic sources. Disease and its causes. Diseases can also be defined as an impairment of the normal states of the living organism that disturb the performance of the vital function. Disease may be response to examples of diseases and causes. Environmental factors like industrial hazards, specific infective diseases as worms, protozoans, fungi, etc. Combination of these factors, inherent defect of the organism, that is genetic anomalies. Extrinsic factors. The disease causing external agents, which enter the human body from outside as referred to as extrinsic factors. The important extrinsic factors are unbalanced diet, disease-causing microorganisms, environmental pollutant, tobacco, alcohol, and drugs. These all are the extrinsic factors. Now, types of diseases. Diseases are mainly, if we classified, it's mainly two types: congenital disease and acquired disease. Congenital disease are the disease which disease is present since birth, caused due to genetic abnormalities or defective development of embryo. Like, and acquired disease that develop after birth on the basis of ability of spread. Now after that, acquired disease are again classified into infectious disease and non-infectious disease. Infectious disease, you know that it can pass from diseased person to healthy person. Example, malaria, tuberculosis, etc. Non-infectious disease cannot pass from one person to another person. Example, diabetes, goiter, etc. Infectious disease is again classified into two: contagious and non-contagious. Contagious disease are it is direct transmission, like smallpox, chickenpox, etc. Non-contagious disease is indirect transmission. And non-infectious disease again classified in different 5 types. Deficiency disease. Deficiency, you know that because of some deficiency, like goiter is the disease which is because of the deficiency of vitamin D. Second is metabolic disease. Metabolic disease means it also because of our metabolic, if our metabolic process is not correctly, so we can suffer from metabolic disease. For example, diabetes is the one example of the metabolic disease. And degenerative disease. Next one is the degenerative or cancer disease, you can say. This is the arthritis. Actually, degenerative disease are the based on, actually it's generally because of the degeneration of our cell, degeneration in the tissues or cell. Because of that, arthritis, long sightedness, these all are the degenerative disease. Next is allergies. It is itching, skin rashes, etc. And injury is the any type of harm, any type of accident. Now difference between communicable and non-communicable disease. So communicable disease, they are caused by attack of pathogen or the vectors. Pathogen are the source which microbes which caused disease. The disease are brought about by external factors. Infectious disease can pass from diseased person to healthy person. Infection occurs through direct contact and other medium. Non-communicable diseases, they are caused by factors of other than living pathogen. The diseases are mostly brought by internal factors. Non-communicable disease cannot pass one to another. Transmission is absent. Difference between acute and chronic disease. There are 2 types of disease: acute disease and chronic disease. So acute disease, these last for only short period of time. These do not cause long-term bad effect on human health. Example, it's cold, cough, cholera, etc. Chronic disease, these last for long time, even as much as lifetime. These cause drastic long-term effects on human health. Example, cancer is the example of the acute cancer, arthritis, these all are the example of the chronic disease. Infectious agent, that means the pathogen, we can say that pathogen, the which spread disease, which are the causes of the disease. Infectious agents are virus. Commonly virus cause common cold, influenza, dengue fever, AIDS, and nowadays COVID-19 also. Bacteria, and disease caused by bacteria are typhoid fever, cholera, tuberculosis, anthrax. The disease caused by fungi. The many common infectious disease generally is skin disease. Protozoans, malaria, Kala Azar, these are the disease caused by protozoan, especially mosquito. Worms infections, elephantiasis, the feet like elephant, human feet like elephant. As an example, let us take antibiotics. What is antibiotics? Actually, what the function of antibiotics? So, if we are discuss about the antibiotic here, so first we have to know about that. What is antibiotic? Actually, antibiotic, these are the chemical substance produced mainly by microorganisms, especially bacteria and fungi, which at low concentration have the ability to inhibit the growth of other microorganisms. Commonly, they commonly block biochemical pathway. Important for bacteria. Many bacteria, for example, make a cell wall to protect themselves. The antibiotic penicillin blocks the bacterial process that build the cell wall. As a result, the growing bacteria become unable to make cell wall and die easily. Means of spread of infectious disease. There are so many means to spread of infectious disease. When we are talking about the infectious disease, that means the transfer of the pathogen from diseased person to healthy person. So how they transfer, how the agent transfer from diseased person to healthy person. So there is some means are there, some mediums are there. Through that mediums, the pathogen transfer from one body to another body. So these are the common means of spread of infectious disease: airborne disease, waterborne diseases, sexually transmitted diseases through vectors. So these are the airborne disease: common cold, pneumonia, tuberculosis. Waterborne disease: cholera, amoebiasis. Sexually transmitted disease: syphilis, AIDS. And through vectors: Anopheles mosquitoes, vector of malaria. Mean of spread of infectious disease: airborne disease. How airborne disease? Just how the microbes transfer from one person to another person through the air. Common cold, pneumonia, and tuberculosis. Such disease causing microbes spread throughout the air. The transmission of these microbes occur through the little droplets coughed out by infected person. We can also see in this diagram. If you see in this diagram, infected person just sneeze. So what happened with its cough? And the microbes is also get down in the form of droplets, also get down, mix with the air, and it can infect the healthy person. It can be transferred to the healthy person. You can see in the diagram very clearly here. Some droplets are get down here, but some are remain droplets in air, and it's through the ventilation it's reached to the healthy body and get infected to the healthy body. Direct and or indirect transmission. Sometimes the transmission is direct, sometimes it's indirect also. So infectious disease spread from an infected person to a healthy person through air, water, food, vectors, physical contact, and sexual contacts. These are all are the direct or indirect mode of transmission: by air, by food, by water, by vector, by physical contact, and by sexual contacts. Now, organ specific and tissue specific manifestation. After entry of microbes in our body, where do they go? This question just can come to our mind. What happened after entry of microbes? We discussed about that microbes, pathogens, they all are the disease causing agent. So what happened when once they enter in our body? So what after entry of microbes in our body, where do they go? Actually, it depends on the point of entry. The answer for this depends on the points of entry. Suppose a person may contract pulmonary tuberculosis from inhaling droplets from a cough or sneeze by a infected person. What happened? Because here the infection go through the air, so definitely it will go through our lungs. It reaches to our lungs. Okay, so tuberculosis caused by bacteria, entry point through nose to lung. Organ specific and tissue specific manifestation, just I am going to explain in detail. Disease causing microbes enter the body by different means and goes to different organ and tissues. You all know that our body is made up of cell and tissues and organs. So you know that cell form tissues, tissue form organs. So basically if we suffer from any disease, so the effect of disease, the effect of that microbes is either in our tissue or our any specific organ. So microbes which enter through the nose are likely to go to the lungs. Bacteria which cause tuberculosis of lung. Microbes which enter through the mouth. So what happens if enter through the mouth is likely to stay in the gut. Bacteria which cause typhoid or liver, bacteria which cause jaundice. So if microbes enter through the mouth, it's reached in our gut or liver. Virus which caused AIDS enter the body through sexual organs during sexual contact and spread through the lymph to all parts of the body and damage the immune system. Virus which cause Japanese encephalitis, brain fever, that is also known as the Japanese encephalitis is known as the brain fever. It's entered the body through mosquito bite and goes and infect the brain. So you understand that the point of entry, it's depend upon the point of entry. Now principles of treatment. The treatment of infectious diseases consist of two steps. They are to reduce the effect of the disease, means symptoms, because if we are having any problem, if we are not fit, so definitely we get some symptom for that. Maybe symptom is fever, swelling, some pain. So these are the symptoms. Because of that symptom, yes, we feel discomfort. Because you know that disease means there is no ease. There is the disturbed ease. Disease means disturbed ease. That is some discomfort. So they are the reduce the effect of the disease, means symptoms, and to kill the microbes which cause the disease. So there is the principle of treatment. Two important point here for treatment or principle of treatment. To reduce the effect, first step is the reduce the effect of the disease. So what is the effect of the disease? That is the symptom. These can be done by taking medicine to bring down the effect of the disease like fever, pain or loose motions, etc. And by taking bed rest to conserve our energy. Second step, to kill the microbes. This can be done by taking suitable antibiotics and drugs which kills the microbes and disease is cured. So two step is, first is to reduce the effect. Suppose if you are having fever, so fever is only symptoms. Fever is maybe some infection, some viral infection, or some because of some microbes you are having fever. So but fever is the symptom. So what happened when you are suffering from fever? So just you take a medicine for fever. So after some time your fever, your temperature will get down, and But what is the cause of disease? Because of some pathogen, some infection, you are suffering from fever. So after that, to kill the microbes, because of which microbes, because of which pathogen you are suffering from fever. So second step is kill that particular microbes by taking suitable antibiotics or drugs. Principle of prevention. There are two ways of prevention of the infectious disease. They are general ways and specific ways. General ways of prevention, public hygiene is most important for prevention of infectious disease. Proper and sufficient food for everyone will make people healthy to resist infection. If we will take balanced diet, if we will take proper diet, then only we can increase our immune system and we can fight with the infectious agent. And public hygiene is most important for prevention of infectious disease. Airborne disease can be prevented by living in conditions that are not crowded. Waterborne disease can be prevented by providing safe drinking water. Vector-borne disease can be prevented by providing clean environment. Second, specific ways of prevention. These all are the general ways of prevention. Now specific ways of prevention. The specific way to prevent infectious disease is immunization by taking vaccines. Vaccines provide immunity from infectious disease like tetanus, diphtheria, whooping cough, measles, polio, etc. Our body has an immune system which fight with the microbes microbial infection or microbes. When this system first sees an infectious microbe, it kills the microbes and remember it. So if the microbes enter the body the next time, it responds more vigorously. Vaccine mimic the infectious microbes and strengthen our immune system and protect the body from the infectious disease. Prevention method of some common disease. Typhoid. We can prevent from this disease. We need proper sanitation and disposal of fecal matter. Prevent infection. Typhoral oral vaccine also prevent typhoid. TAV vaccination provides immunity for 3 years. Diarrhea. Its community hygiene is also important. Proper personal hygiene is also very important. Tables should be covered to prevent contamination. Stale food should not be consumed. Tuberculosis. Isolation and proper rehabilitation of the patient. Avoidance of overcrowding. Provision of good ventilation and better help to reduce the incidence of the disease. Every kinds of disease is not under our control, but the least we can do is to take care of ourselves and our surrounding. So we have to keep our surrounding clean. We have washed properly. We keep proper sanitization. Nowadays, we all are very much worry about the coronavirus, COVID-19. So it's prescribed to proper sanitization, frequently hand washing. So these all are the way to preventing measure to just keep safe from the disease or any type of infection. Providing vaccine at right time. So these small contributions from you and me will help us make a better future. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.